Good morning and welcome to Women Who Rock with Success. This is your show host, Ms. Diane Winbush, and we're thankful that you tuned in with us on today. Don't forget about a couple of announcements that we have, and one is tomorrow, actually, and it's going to be our Women's Empowerment Conference that's going to be held at the Hollywood Community Center, located at 1560 North Hollywood Street. That's Memphis, Tennessee, 38108. And so we also have another community prayer breakfast that will be coming up. It's going to be with men and women, and that's going to be on May the 18th. And that's also located at the Hollywood Community Center, and it's located at 1560 North Hollywood Street, zip code 38108. For tomorrow, the event will start at 12, and on the 18th of May, the event will start on around 9 o'clock. So don't forget about those two events that will be coming up, and then we have another awesome event that will be coming up that we got prepared for you for the month of June, and it's going to be a women's summit, and then you'll be able to get all the tools and resources that you need for your business with the online summit that will be coming up. And so we'll give you more information and details about that on our website. But today we're excited about our guest that we have on today. And the reason why I am so excited, because this is my first time doing an interview with someone in the field of HVAC. So that's real cool. And so we want to be able to hear from her today. And our guest is Mrs. Danielle Putnam, and she will be our star feature on today on Women Who Rock with Success. So welcome to the podcast, Danielle.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
And we are so happy to have you. We're excited, and we're going to jump right into the interview because this is something totally different. This is totally unique, and so we're going to let the listeners be able to get whatever they need from you, from your profession. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Danielle Putnam. I am an entrepreneur at heart. When I was young, I always wanted to be in business, and when people would ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? I mean, of course, sometimes I would say a fashion designer, because who doesn't want to do that? You know, I always wanted to be able to wear fashionable shoes, and of course, to date myself a little bit, I couldn't wait to someday in the future have a flip phone, a cell phone that would flip open and closed. I thought, if I could be an entrepreneur, I will be successful when I have a flip phone. Oh, the days. But so that's kind of how I started out is, my mantra in life is really to say yes to opportunity, because I knew I wanted to be in business. I didn't really know what that looked like, and it was hard and difficult to explain that to my friends, because friends who say, oh, I want to be a dentist, I want to be a veterinarian, I want to be a school teacher. When you say, oh, well, I want to be a business lady, what does that mean? You sit at a desk all day? What do you do? It didn't really have a lot of packaging around it, and so it was very much developed over time for myself. But it just started out with a love for business and the idea that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and, of course, I'm sure we can dive into where I am today, but that's how my journey began.
Perfect. Absolutely, because when it comes to entrepreneurship, it has millions, I want to say, if you will, facets. It has millions of facets. So any, entrepreneur can be, I want to be at a, maybe perhaps like a blogger or something, because, there are mothers that are stay-at-home mothers, and they make a ton of wealth just for being bloggers, for, maybe mompreneurs. So it does carry many facets when we say entrepreneurs. So when it comes to HVAC, we're going to go to the next question, because HVAC, when we hear HVAC, we think of men. We think of the male-dominant, workforce or what have you. And I'm going to tell you what I thought about when I read your bio. It's a lady, I think I'm not for sure if she's on the DIY, Do It Yourself channel. HB channel, but I know she's been on there for years, and I can't think of her name, but she has long hair, and so when I thought about that, I thought about her because she has really actually came a long ways with home improvement and different little things like that, and so that's more like on a male's type of platform. So that's what made me think about you. I said, oh, this is going to be exciting. It's going to be basically like I'm interviewing her at the same time. So tell us, what compelled you to pursue that career in HVAC industry?
Sure. Well, I appreciate the question. HVAC, it's not always considered a sexy trade. People think of it, just kind of like you said, is why women? I love being a woman in the trades because we are the minority, and so there's a lot of room for us to stand out. So right away, I really do believe that is our unfair advantage. We have an advantage to be in the trades. Now, HVAC for me, I was really born and bred. Along with so many of my colleagues and counterparts, so many women in the trades, their dad or their siblings were in the trades. It's very much a generational type industry very often. We're losing that in the last generation because so many people just did such a hard push for 4-year degrees in colleges. But trade schools originally you learned from your parents, and then you passed it down to your children. It very much was very generational. So my dad was a contractor all my life. I grew up playing in the shop because it was fun. Dad had cool toys that, scissor lifts and backhoes and different things that we could play on as kids. I had 8 siblings, so my siblings and I, loved to be at Dad's office. And then when I was in high school, I answered the phones and thought that I was the office manager. I thought I was so important because I was, the daughter of the boss, and I could do anything I wanted in the office, which, of course, in hindsight isn't true, but that's what you think when you're in high school. So I grew up around the trades. After high school, I moved out to Texas and went to Bible school, and it was really an internship program that I went to, and I was the only one of my friends at 18 years old that had any legitimate work experience. Because I'd grown up around my dad's contracting company, I'd spent a lot of summers handwriting postcards and doing marketing things, doing telemarketing on the phones and surveys. So I had actual office work experience that none of my peers had. Because I had that at an early age, it really allowed me to excel. So I started in marketing, working at this internship, and was really able to excel above my peers very quickly. I later moved out west to California. I worked in, it was a startup company in 2005. We were a digital media company competing with Facebook at the time. And then we got bought out. We did a lot of digital advertising online, a lot of local search, things like that, which was really cool. I was the director of strategic alliances and business development, learned a lot about business, just different facets of it. But in 2011, I came back to the trades because my dad, who was a contractor, and I were good friends, and we kept talking and having ideas, and he had all these ideas of ways that he could better help his fellow contractors because it's a very struggling industry. There's a lot of feast and famine, very difficult to make a good solid living in that industry. So as we talked about it, I hope I'm not saying too much, but, he had such great ideas that I said, Dad, you need to do something with your ideas and quit just calling me and telling me about them. And he says, well, Danielle, I want to, but I need your help. He's a visionary. He says, I'm not the operations person. I can't get it done without you. And so in 2011, I quit my job in California, took a big risk, moved across the country, and in 2011, my dad and I, in his garage, spent 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, for a year building our current company and the product of our company. I'll tell you about that. But that year, I blew through all of my savings, maxed out all of my credit cards, and really put my neck out there on the line. So it was a very scary time. But I believed, because I'd been around the trades, my whole life, I believed that we had stumbled upon something. It was a pricing system for contractors, and I really believed that we could help them. And that's why I ended back in the trades, is because I wanted to make a difference. Whereas before, being in tech, it's a big competitive world. But in the trades and in HVAC, I thought, wow, I can make a difference to people who are, most of them are small businesses, and they're very family-oriented, and they're just trying to help people. Contractors love to help people. They're fix-it people. And I thought, if I could make a difference in that industry, boy, I could find my place. And so I have a passion for it. I love it. I love the people I work with, and that's kind of brought us to where we are today.
Okay, perfect. So not to be, I guess, hilarious or anything like that, but I would like to, I guess, expound on the fact about the People's Court, Judge Marilyn Millian. She has some of the same attributes that you have, because I think that even when litigants come to her courtroom, she's able to decipher between someone that comes in with construction. We'll just put it like that. And so while you were speaking in regards to a little bit of your history and how you got started with your father, that's actually that's what one of her first professions was, helping her father building cabinets. She was the technical digital woman. She was the secretary. She did the same thing. So that was brought me to her when you start, speaking about how your father, you started out with him. And so when she comes in there and they try to pull that stuff over her head, she was like, my family comes straight from this, to construction. That's how we came up, da-da-da-da-da. So after they see that and they hear that, they, kind of retrieve their answers. And so they do, because they be looking, because, it's unusual for a woman to be in that type of field and that type of occupation. So when she brings that up, she'll let them know, no, you can't come in here and pull that over my eyes. So I just wanted to kind of iterate on that a little bit, because what you do is totally different, and that also can be able to spike other women into getting into things that may be, conducive to what, males are doing. So I just wanted to just share that just briefly, about that, because you just made me think about the judge on the People's Court, because you have the same kind of background history that she does. So
interesting.
Yeah. She'll let them know. She's not afraid. She'll let them know. My daddy, and I think her parents are still living today, and so she'll let them know, look, this is how I came up. So you can't tell me what the 4x8 is, because I used to sit there at the phones and ran the phones, blah 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 blah. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I guess for some encouragement. You're like a little celebrity in your own way yourself. So tell us about the new flat rate and about the industry of HVAC.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I appreciate the question and the opportunity, of course, to talk about it. The new flat rate is my company. I'm currently the president, and it's the company that we started in 2011. We are now essentially international. We're in all 50 states and in 4 provinces of Canada. And what it is, it's a pricing system. It's a tool. It's a software program. It's an app. So I've become a software company. Never thought that I would really do that, but kind of had to. These days we all have to adapt and grow with the times really quickly to be competitive. And so for contractors, when they go out and they do a job, a service call, a repair, we work primarily with residential contractors, some light commercial. But when they go into the home, they need to be able to price their work. And, I think it's very difficult. If you want a service, say you're going to go get your hair done, your nails done, anything, and if you ask somebody, well, how much is it? And if they can't tell you how much the service costs, it's very difficult to do business with them. Not that you don't want to, but if you can't tell people how much to pay, it's very difficult. It just makes it an awkward transaction. And so for contractors, for years, there's been what was called time and material, where they'll go to your house, they'll take a look at the job you have, and they might quote you how long it might take along with materials they would need. Or there's what's called flat rate. With flat rate pricing, they'll quote it and say, okay, for example, this job is going to be $250 today. Now, the problem with that over time is the money cap. If they say it's going to be $250, well, you as a customer, if you only have $230 today, you're most likely going to say no. And so it's almost like a take it or leave it ultimatum. The other flip side of that is that the contractors over time began to pressure their service technicians to sell more, as in you have to get your average service ticket up higher, and so instead of giving one price, you need to look for more things to repair in the home and pressure the customer to buy more. Now, this did not create a comfortable transaction. So our product, the new flat rate, is a menu. We offer 5 different price points on any service repair. So when the technician goes in the home, does the diagnosis and finds the problem, he simply walks through our app, the index, finds the correct menu page, and then goes to the customer and says, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, I found the problem, but don't worry, I have some options for you. Now they show our app to the customer, which is the menu pages, customized for that contractor and technician with their price points. And then the customer is able to look at the app and choose between 5 price points, like a good, better, best, all the way up to 5 prices. So they can choose the level of service they want based on their budget. They might want, a longer warranty. They might want more repairs, more things done today. Or it might just be a real simple fix and they don't, it's not a high priority for them. So they might just choose the bottom option that's very budget friendly today. And so this takes all the sales pressure away from the technician so that it gives the customer the ability to take ownership and to be the buyer. And that's retail. That's what we like anyway, especially women. We go into the store and we want to choose our favorite pair of shoes and buy the best that we can afford today. So that's what we've done with the new flat rate is we take that retail buying into the home so that customers can make the choice and there's no awkward sales pressure from the technicians. It's really a win-win-win.
Wow, that is so awesome. Something just kind of came to me just a minute ago, and so while you were speaking, and so and I wanted to, I guess, get your opinion on that. Even what you have with the flat rate, and then you have the technicians that be able to go out and in the homes for the consumers. What do you think about one day? As a long-term goal, as maybe becoming like an Angie's List. That was just something that just crossed me. It did because of the so many techniques, so many facets, so many features that you have with the company that you have, and you have built it. You have not built it off of something where you went to school, but this was something that grew up in your home as a traditional family trade. So it was just something that kind of came to me. So I mean, you can expound on it, or we could go ahead and go to the next question. But this was just something just interesting that kind of came to me about what you do.
Yeah, interesting. There's a lot of great services out there, and Angie's List is one of them for the homeowner. And so the more that we can get the word out and let customers know that we're trying to help the contractors to help them would be great.
Yeah, okay. So about the new flat rate, so share with us, I guess, some of the short-term goals that you would like to see for the company. What would be some of the short-term goals that you would like to achieve? You don't have to, I guess, elaborate on a lot, but just a couple of things that you would like to share as a short-term goal.
Yeah, I love the question. Well, in 2019, definitely some things that I'm working on just as a business professional, is for my current team. I'm really trying to have a team of 16 full-time employees and just trying to make their lives easier as they do work. Everybody loves to be here. They love the team that they're on. But I'm really working on management to be better at keeping employees in their lane so that they know exactly this is what I'm responsible for. These are the numbers I'm responsible for reporting. Because, being a startup, we started by everybody wearing a lot of hats and everybody helping everybody. So right now we're really departmentalizing. So my big goal for 2019 is to departmentalize more so that everybody's in their own lane and has their own responsibilities that they report for, and we don't have as much crossover. So that's an internal thing that just even being, management is not a natural thing for me. I've had to really learn, read a lot of books and a lot of practice and talk to a lot of mentors and coaches to learn to be a manager, and it's always, practice and trial and error trying to manage my team better so that we can grow and be positioned to scale. And so it's just something of a startup that you have to learn all the different aspects. So that's internal. External-wise is we're really working and doing a hard push on what we call version 2. So it's our next version of our app. Our first version of our app is the basic menus, and it's fantastic, great walkthrough, great presentation. The field guys love it, and it's doing what it's supposed to do, but we, of course, want to add more bells and whistles. And so that's what we're working on short-term, too, is we already have it all mapped out, and so our developers are working really hard to build out phase 2 so that we can launch that to our customers. So more features coming, and that's definitely my short-term goals.
Okay, great. And so with what you do, as an entrepreneur, as a president of a construction, as a I say DIY, I'm not for sure why I can't get that out of my head, but HVAC. So
Yeah.
how has this compelled other women? Have you seen a change where other women are more strategic to go into the male dominant workforce and stuff? How has this compelled other women to be able to just go out there and do something that men do? Just like, okay, so take for instance the first job that I've ever had when I turned 18. It was laying cement. It was outside. It was a construction job, and I'm not embarrassed about it. So, but later on, of course, I changed my profession to do something else because I didn't want to stay outside. So, have you seen a change with other women wanting to succeed in the same type of industry and field that you're working in?
Well, we're certainly trying. Something else that I'm currently doing is I'm the 2019 sitting president on what's called Women in HVACR, and we are a nonprofit organization. We have over 400 members. And in this group, one of our key initiatives is awareness for women. Everybody's coming. There's a big issue in all of the trades right now, which is, there's a hiring crisis. It's a shortage of help. And so as women, we are really working hard to try to find that magic pill, if you will. Mm-hmm. How do we bring more people into the trades? And so people are looking to women saying, can you help? So we're trying to be very strategic about that. We're creating ambassador programs and mentorship and coaching programs to help bring more women in and show them. But something that I say is if you want more women in the trades, you have to let them know that there's a place for them. It has to very much be awareness. You have to market to them and some of the needs that women have. Women, we are responsible for our families in so many ways, and we want to know that we have a career path that's stable, that we can be in, that we can be family flexible. If we need to go pick up our kids from daycare, that we're not going to be shunned for doing that. And that's something that I really know firsthand that our industry provides versus so many other industries where you can't leave your desk. I mean, we can be very flexible and family friendly. And so we've done a big push on just building the awareness. And then personally, of course, I love to tell people what trade I'm in because I do believe that it does motivate other people to take a look at it. One issue that we have is, it's just, again, it's the awareness. People don't realize, HVAC is a career and I could look into that. It's almost like the awareness of trade school. People forget that there's something like trade school so that you can learn a skilled trade. So we just are advocates. We advocate everywhere we go and always just talking and promoting the industry, Facebook, social media, letting people know that there is room for you here and in so many capacities. It's not just at the contracting office, but also the distributors, the wholesalers. There's just, all the supply counters. There's so much opportunity and so much fun. And also, especially if it's anybody that's hands-on at all, that doesn't want to just sit behind a desk and work on a computer. Maybe they're good with, mechanics and working with their hands, and they want to be able to do different things throughout the day. They get bored easily. This is a trade that offers such variety every day. And then you're also dealing with, customers, which is fun, especially if you like people and interaction and sales or marketing. And so, it's really just all about not being quiet, constantly talking and building up our industry to help bring up awareness.
Wow. Okay, you have really actually put it out there, okay? And so are there any publications or new releases or any outreach community efforts that you do to be able to impact other women as far as, perhaps maybe like events or maybe like trade shows or anything that you do in the community? Because see, and the reason why I asked that, because like I said, this is a unique podcast because you rarely hear women working in these types of industries. Mm-hmm. And so I think that it is very important for women to know that, guess what, I can use a hammer, I can use a nail, I can go over here and change this. So are there any workshops that you work with in the community as outreach efforts?
Yeah, great question. I appreciate that. Like I mentioned with Women in HVACR, our website is womeninhvacr.org, and we are just launching a job board on there. so people can see the kinds of opportunities that are open. We have a lot of employers all across the nation that are sending, job openings there, so that it's just a great resource for women. But we have an annual conference. This year it's going to be in September in Boston, the 25th through the 27th. And it's open for members and non-members, and it's a great way to come and to be motivated and to see what we're doing and to be a part of something great. And then, of course, we do have a lot of trade shows, and that's, if you like marketing, it's a really fun thing to be involved in the trade shows. Next week, I'll be in Orlando. There's a group called Service Roundtable and another one called NCI that we have going on next week, and I'm actually one of the speakers at the Service Roundtable event, which I'm very honored about. So we have regional meet and greets and gets-togethers too, so that we can, again, help to network together and to keep our group of women strong and to bring more people into our group. So there is a lot that you can do to get involved and to find things in your area. We try to do, the regional meetups, and then our new ambassador program, we're looking for volunteers in each state to have a woman representative in each state that says, yeah, I'm going to go into the trade schools and tell people more about this, and go into the high schools and tell people about this, and somebody that you can use as a resource too. So I hope that kind of answers your question. Mm-hmm. But womeninhvacr.org is a great place to start if you're interested in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's awesome. This is awesome. What would you like to leave with the listeners? And this is in terms of entrepreneurs that's just getting started, or entrepreneurs that may or may not be in the HVAC industry. They're just entrepreneurs trying to get started, or they're entrepreneurs that are at an intermediate level. What would you like to leave with them?
Oh, man. I have to, when I think about that, the first answer that it's so true for me. It's my core DNA, and that is we have to learn to say yes to opportunity. It's not about being a yes person, but saying yes to opportunity. Somebody has to roll up their sleeves and do the hard work. Being an entrepreneur is hard. I have a team of people. I delegate to them every day, but at the end of the day, there are so many items I still personally have to pick up to move them to the next level because I care the most. As an entrepreneur, we want to grow something. We want to build. We've got that, that need for more and for greatness and to be successful that's within us that drives us. And we have to say yes to opportunities, to the hard things, to, stepping out of our comfort zone all the time. And you really, Diane, you don't have to do that much. If you do 1% more today than you did yesterday, I really know deep within my core that propels you forward ahead of the rest and helps keep you in the front of the crowd. And leadership, you've heard it said, leadership is lonely. It's lonely at the top. But what I do know about in the trades is there is room for the top. There's people that have been there, for years and years, and they're tired and they're ready to retire and they're ready for new, ideas and new people. And there is room, but somebody has to be willing to pick up the baton and say yes to opportunity and say, hey, I want to be successful. I want to grow. I am going to put in the work and the effort to do 1% better today than I did yesterday.
Mm-hmm. That's a powerful statement because in sharing something on, I think it was social media in a type of entrepreneurial group, and so it was a question that came up, and so some of the questions was, some of the responses to the questions was very, very difficult for me to absorb because my thing about it is anytime we're entrepreneurs and we're in business, there's going to have to be some sweat equity. This is not a free ship where we sit there and we go out into the ocean, but there is no paddle to push us. And so that's what they were doing. They were responding as if I want it for free. And it's good that when you first start off, you have to, go to the free options first, but it's going to come a time, as you stated, we're going to have to work. We're going to have to work hard. And it is lonely at the top because sometimes nobody understands your brand. Some people don't understand your market. And sometimes people also try to desire to get into your lane, but they don't have the tools to be able to get into the lane. So therefore you have to go in and have to, I don't want to use the word eliminate, but sometimes you may have to pull back from certain people or persons or individuals, so they won't become a distraction while they're trying to tag along, but they don't have what it takes to be into your into your lane. And so I went in there and I gave them a real good feedback, and some of them they was like, well, we want it for free and things, and I'm like, okay, you're going to continue to sit where you are simply because of the fact that you don't want to do sweat equity. That's what they teach on the Home and Garden channel, the DIY channel. You have to do sweat equity in your business because you won't have no praise report, no testimonies out of it,
You're so right. That sweat equity is a great way to say it. You have to be, if you want it, you have to go get it. Nobody's going to hand it to you on a silver platter. You have to make it happen, and you have to make it happen every day. Every day you have to choose to make it happen. It's a lot of work, and it's so fun. I wouldn't change it for anything, but it is work every day.
It is perfect. So the last question is how can the listeners connect with you? If this is an opportunity, if you want to share any sites, any links, and of course you have shared some upcoming events and things like that. You can share them again if you want to, or any social media platforms or handles that you would like to share with the listeners so they can be able to connect with you. You can do that at this time.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Well, again, my name was Danielle Putnam. My company is The New Flat Rate, which you can find me at thenewflatrate.com. My email is danielle@menupricing.com. Or, of course, please check us out at womeninhvacr.org. Thank you, Diane.
Perfect. So, ladies, we have had a wonderful time with this entrepreneur, with this president, with this HVAC industry, woman leading industry in HVAC. Just listen to that. And so we had a wonderful time with her today on this interview on the podcast. And so don't forget about our event that's coming up on tomorrow. It starts at 12 o'clock sharp at the Hollywood Community Center. And, of course, it's a women's enrichment and empowerment session and luncheon. And so for all upcoming events, you can go to our website at www.womenwhorockwithsuccess.com. Thank you so much for being our guest on today, Danielle.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, have a great day.